Testing.
Hi, I'm Ben. Testing.
Testing.
And we're off here at St. George's for this first broadcast of the night. It is the two schools, Vancouver College and St. George's, the junior varsity squads of these two teams. The starters for St. George's on the floor right now are Cooper Sugarman, Lawson Graham, Luke Dixon, Eli Van Haren, and Xavier Kristen. For the VC Fighting Irish, it's Parsa Haizderet, Cole Cruz-Dumont, Zyken Zen, Felipe Jackson Finley, Jacob Holt, and Logan Frost. Those are the starters as VC brings it up the court on their first possession of the game.
Yeah, so far we're already seeing Eli's ability on the boards. They're already bringing down one rebound in the first play, and the height's really going to play a difference in this game.
Yeah, Saints has a lot of height on their team. Not really in power forward Cooper Sugarman. Actually in grade 9, and but he has been at St. George's all the way since he came to the school from Tomatora in grade 7.
Yeah,
he's a very skilled player for this JV team.
Yeah, he has the highest field goal percentage on the team right now at 46%, and he'll be one to look out for this game for sure.
VC now with the ball in their own end, trying to break out and get these first points of the game. Up for the layup, just can't get there, but there's an obstruction, and they'll go to the free throw line.
Yeah, Eli looking for the block there, hit the arm, and VC will get 2 shots here.
And it's unsuccessful as they try to extend their lead there. And Jack Cruz-Dumont just tries to get up the floor.
Yeah. Stolen back, Lawson driving.
Here's Coop at the
Xavier
top of the
for the
circle.
3. And Saints gets their first points of the game.
Here's VC up for a layup, and they just can't quite get there. Xavier now bringing up the floor for St. George's. Up to Cooper Sugarman, driving towards the net. Surveys his options, puts it up to Xavier. Xavier brings it to the net, and they're going for the 3 here, St. George's, and as it's Eli, goes up for the layup, and they get 2 points with 5 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the first quarter here. VC now moving the ball up the court. With their early onslaught of points, Saints leading 7-1 now, and it's been a good start for Saints.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Even on the defensive end, they have been pretty tight, and they haven't let VC kind of settle into this game where they could start racking up points. And if Saints can get a lead early in this game and go into the first break with a substantial lead, it will serve them very well heading into the rest of the game. VC now with the layup, and unsuccessful again as Eli is again forceful on the defensive end. St. George's now with the throw, but it is just too short.
Yeah, Luke will be heading to the line. You know, it's interesting right now, VC playing a generally small man lineup. They got Armand on the bench, 7 feet tall, and, you know, Eli's been sort of dominant in the paint right now. And it's interesting to see if VC is going to try to change their lineup to combat that.
Luke Dixon just unsuccessful with that first one. Saints has been having a problem on free throws. Throughout the season, they've shot about 50% on their free throws, and I mean, that sequence there just keeps that number pretty similar. Just going 1 for 2, Luke Dixon on those 2 free throw attempts. There's VC just chipping away at this lead that Saints has put up early as Cooper Sugarman drives to the middle of the court, turns, drops off, and Saints drives again to the net. Now it's Luke Dixon looking. Vancouver College now with the ball just at the top of the key, going up for a layup, and with a one-handed from their tall man. That's a tall battle between VC's number 8 there and Eli for Saints. Jacob Holt there for VC. That'll be an interesting battle, Liam, to watch throughout the night. Jacob Holt versus...
Yeah, absolutely. Big man battles are always exciting to watch, and we're going to see a lot of it here.
And we don't usually see that at the JV level as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Saints making some substitutions here. So it's interesting, Eli is coming off, but Jacob is staying on right now, so VC is the tallest player on the court, and we're going to see how that works. They might try to ISO him here.
Saints is also keeping Cooper out there, so if they put those 2 up next to each other, it's going to be quite the height in this match. Because Cameron can't quite get the ball. Saints now at the top of the crease. VC with... You see, there's that height that we were talking about. Being able to just drive into the net, and just like that, it's a tie game.
Yeah, very impressive layup there.
Hey, White! Settle, let's go!
Cole Cruz-Dumont just to check the ball in for VC now. As Christian McMahon brings the ball up to the top of the key. Peter Hazardea now. McMahon on the ball. And it's McMahon. Jacob Holt just fouled there by Max Maché. As Saints retrieves the ball and will begin to break out with Cooper Sugarman to Max Maché. Sends it down the line to Angus Uhas. Angus Uhas, he had his brother come to the school a couple of years ago, but he left before he could graduate, Hunter Uhas. As Christian McMahon brings the ball up the court for the Vancouver College Fighting Irish. An obstruction there by St. George's means that VC will have the chance to tie the game. 2 free throws as Parsa is coming to the free throw line for the Vancouver College Fighting Irish. That's Saints' 3rd personal foul of the game, and they'll have to clean that up if they want to find success in this game, eh, Liam?
Yeah, absolutely. Fouls are such a key component in every game, and it's not a good sign when, you know, they're letting VC get to the free throw line really early in the game. You don't want to be stuck in the bonus at the end of the half. So it's definitely something to watch out for.
Victor Zhu coming in now for St. George's. Cooper Sugarman going to the bench after what was a great first few minutes, 7-minute performance by Cooper. And he really controlled the game while he was out there, much like he's done throughout his St. George's basketball career.
Yeah, adding on to that, Cooper coming down with a rebound as well. Not many rebounds usually in his play, but he's being aggressive in the paint and on the board, so it's good to see that from him.
Zykan San Felipe back on the court for the Vancouver College Fighting Irish. He started the game but came off pretty soon thereafter. One intriguing player to me on this VC team is Cole Cruz Dumont. His brother is Jack Cruz Dumont, and he's been part of this Cruz Dumont clan that has been quite effective in VC College Fighting Irish.
Yeah, absolutely. Their father played for the team as well, and they really have a legacy. Their name really carries a long way at that school.
Yeah, and of course the father played for UBC and is an honored Thunderbird there. And with Jack Cruz Dumont, a graduate last year and an important player in these Saints VC varsity games the past 2 years, he is also attending UBC now. It's a pretty good crowd here for a JV game.
Yeah, absolutely. The crowd was really getting into it at the start on both sides, sort of calmed down of recent, but I'm sure we'll see a lot more chants coming up and action between the two different sides in the crowd, which is always good to see.
This year on SportsCanada.TV, we are also premiering a new broadcast angle for this game. We have a cherry picker that is broadcasting it from the opposite side of the gym than we're used to. And so for the first time, you viewers at home are able to see the crowd and the exuberance that these young fans bring to the basketball events.
Yeah, big rejection at the rim there, getting the crowd fired up. It's always good to see.
Got a rebound.
Coach De Silva just stressing to Angus Uhas that he has to rebound, and that's going to be an important play to get the ball after it's gone up for a shot for St. George's.
Yeah, the crowd really getting into it now. To that
VC up with the drive and just can't get there. Cooper again tracking back and just taking control and kind of commanding his troops. And that's definitely a role that a lot of players might not have the courage to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially as a grade 9 on this team, which is made mostly of grade 10s. To be able to be a leader and kind of control the game and calm everyone down in times is a valuable quality that Cooper has here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good to see.
Jackson Finley now. Saints closing down VC quite well as they have to retreat and get reorganized as Zach Zanfelipe drives to the net and it's off the rim as St. George's gets the ball, comes up with speed and almost gets a layup opportunity. Drops it back to Cooper and his drive to the net, it just goes far.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see Cooper play a lot in the paint in this game so far. He's been driving a lot, kicking out. It's really good to see the aggression.
They say good things come in small packages, and Cooper Sugarman is certainly proving that correct for St. George's this year.
Yeah.
VC now with the ball and just driving up the floor as San Felipe tries a shot, but it goes off and there's a hold there as VC again will get the ball back.
Yeah, Saints really liking to stick their hands in right now. A lot of fouls happening. We'll have to see if they're toning this down in the second half.
Interception there. San Felipe bringing the ball up, and he'll try and start an attack for the Fighting Irish as Parsa has the ball now. Challenged by Saints. Now it's Thor with the shot, and his shot is good. Great shot, but it was within the boundary, so it was a two-pointer. Now it's Eli with the chance for Saints. Rebounded, and Saints can't put that in after, I think that was 4 or 5 attempts there, Liam, eh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Boy, Jacob rejected Eli at the rim there, but Eli just out-rebounded him 3 times in a row there. You know, it's good to see his focus up after, you know, a rejection like that. And he'll head to the line for 2 shots here.
Eli Van Haren now at the line for St. George's, hoping to improve on their team shooting percentage from the free throw line of 50%. And he does. That's 2 for 2 and extends Saints' lead to 18-13 with 46 seconds left in this first quarter.
Yeah, it's been a generally exciting first quarter. Saints averaging a little more than their average per quarter, so it's good to see. And the defense and concentration has been there, as you can see with another rebound.
Eli Van Haren to Cooper Sugarman. Cooper Sugarman into the center, and a drive just isn't good enough for Saints to extend their lead with 27.1 seconds left in this first quarter, with this broadcast coming to you live from St. George's School. And this game between the VC Fighting Irish and the St. George's Saints, as Cooper Sugarman gets the ball there and will try and make a late drive to extend this lead for Saints. Eli Van Haren now. VC making a late chance to cut this lead, and they do. With 2 seconds left, it's 18-13 for St. George's, and that's a wrap on the first quarter of play today here at St. George's School in Dunbar, Vancouver, British Columbia.
Yeah, it's interesting. You saw Cooper with a couple steals there at the end of the game. Cooper with a couple steals there at the end of the quarter. He's leading the team in steals with 2.1, and hopefully he'll add to that. It's just a great time for basketball, with it being the trade deadline in the NBA, Saints VC series going on. Basketball fans are really enjoying themselves. Big news, Iman Shumpert just got traded from Sacramento to Houston, and trades have been coming in all day and will continue to go through tomorrow. So it's a great time for basketball fans, especially at St. George's and VC.
Not only that, in the Lower Mainland as well, there's a lot of basketball action happening. There's the new Canadian Premier Basketball League, which is actually a FIBA-sanctioned league and will be considered the top level of basketball in Canada. It's a professional league, and the Fraser Valley is getting a team. The Fraser Valley Titans are set to tip off later in 2019, and they'll be playing in Abbotsford at the old home of the Abbotsford Heat at the Abbotsford Event Center.
Yeah, it's great to see the development of basketball in Canada. We had that year, the back-to-back years with Wiggins and Bennett being drafted, number one back-to-back, which is really incredible and really has shown our development. And, you look at Jamal Murray for the Denver Nuggets putting up, all-star numbers. He's having a great season, and it's just really showing the development of Canadian basketball.
But here we've got the grade 9s and 10s about to kick off their second half here.
Referee seems to be a little confused as to what the call is here.
We focused in on this height battle between Eli Van Haren and Jacob Holt between these two teams, but they're two very different guys. You have Holt, who is a little lankier, maybe a little faster on his feet, actually, but then you have Van Haren, who's a lot more solid defensively.
Yeah, and we've seen it with Jacob pulling up for a shot early. You don't generally see Eli taking J's in the early stages of the game, and he's generally a paint player, so that's a really interesting battle to watch.
St. George's taking their first time out of the game here, just to reset things after surrendering about 5 points here in their last two possessions.
Yeah, Saints still up 3.
I listened to a lot of sports radio, and one thing they were talking about on this one show, the Halford and Bruff show on TSN 1040, was a what-if section. What if Vancouver didn't get the Grizzlies, and we're coming into the league at this point, into the NBA? Could it be successful? Is Vancouver a viable NBA market now? And if they didn't have that past failure, would the NBA be looking seriously at Vancouver? Liam, what are your thoughts?
Oh, for sure. I mean, development in Canada over the last few years has been remarkable, and you got to think if Canada or Vancouver were to get a basketball team here, they do pretty well. It's still a smaller market than most of the cities wanting basketball teams, but there's a recently proposed idea of Seattle and Vancouver sharing a team, and something along those lines. If a West Coast team, Seattle or Vancouver, were to get one, I think it would be great, especially for the development of players over here in Cascadia.
VC just bringing the ball up the court after an unsuccessful shot from Cooper there. Now it's Parsa. Holt now with the ball, double teamed by Cooper and Eli, but that's a bit of a height mismatch from Cooper. VC now with the three-point shot. Off both rims and out as Saints retrieves the ball, and there's some good rebounding that their coach was talking about before.
Yeah, Saints has continued to be strong defensively, and VC is really stepping it up now, forcing a travel there.
Xavier Kristen leading the defensive effort for St. George's. VC finds an open man, just drives to the net and Holt up for the layup, but he can't get there as it comes off the bottom of the rim. But Saints commits yet another foul.
Yeah, it's odd you see a point guard like Cooper guarding the paint as much as he did there, trying to go for the rejection on Jacob, who's a full foot taller than him. So it's interesting to see.
Jacob Holt again to the line for the Fighting Irish.
One or two? Two? That's a second? Yes, Ben. How many on Cooper? Just one?
He's been good from the line, only missing one of his 5 attempts tonight.
Yeah. Saints has been struggling to produce points in the last few minutes. Let's see if that can change. Cooper, another drive.
Here's Xavier to Cooper. Cooper looks to find an option here. Looking to Lawson Graham, possibly. Now puts it to Lawson Graham on the right side. Graham now cuts into the middle. Drops it off for Van Haren, who drops it off for Cooper. Cooper looks for a shot, puts it to Van Haren. Van Haren up for the layup, and that's 2 points for St. George's to extend their lead back to 3 points.
Eli continuing his dominance in the paint there.
That was some great team play between the St. George's forwards.
Yeah, you know,
VC now brings the ball up back to court.
You know, with pressing at this level, ball movement is so strong, and it's great to see that from Saints. Good ball movement, getting an open shot from your big man in the paint.
Here comes Cooper now. Drops it to Dixon. Back to Cooper. Cooper drops it to Xavier, who drops it to... Wow. I think that's the first three-pointer of the night, Liam. Yeah.
Eli with the assist. It's odd you see big man getting assists, especially a no-look pass there. Quite impressive from the big man.
You know, Cooper with that three-pointer can draw a lot of likeness to the varsity team's Jarek Palma, who, even though he's gone under a bit of a growth spurt the last year and a bit, this year for the first time now topping 6 feet, he has long been one of the smaller guys on the court, still is at 6 feet, but him and Cooper are kind of definitions of a small guy who have adjusted their game in ways to find success at their level, and for Cooper especially, finding success against players who are a year, some almost 2 years older than him.
Yeah, it's good to see Cooper getting that three-pointer. You know, he's averaging .8 threes a game, so you know, one there, you know, helping his average. We know he can shoot. He's just getting open, and it's good to see Eli getting him open there.
There he's certainly driving as Luke Dixon gets the ball, goes for the layup and can't quite get it.
Another assist from Cooper there.
And a good 2 points by Theo Bentley as Cruz Dumont comes up, tries to find the layup and can't quite do it with his one hand. Now it's Son Fryer. Cruz Dumont with the drive, and he just gets it and puts it in, much like his whole family has done in those purple and gold colors. There's the height advantage you see by having Eli Van Haren out there. You can have one of your shorter guys drive into the zone and cut it across, and Van Haren is going to make that layup 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, VC is calling a timeout and have had enough of that Eli dominance. An assist and 2 layups in the last 2 possessions. VC just not grinding enough defensively there to stop him. So we'll see if that changes after the timeout. I'm sure it's going to be a pretty interesting talk there on the VC bench if the Saints goes on a little bit of a run there.
Another interesting thing about basketball in Vancouver is they had that NCAA showcase earlier this summer, and it was actually Thanksgiving weekend, I believe, and it didn't draw the numbers that or create the buzz that I think organizers were hoping, especially the women's tournament. I checked that one out, and well, it was a great event that they put on down at Canada Place, building a temporary stadium there. It wasn't attended that well, and I don't think they got the word out. Do you think college basketball really has American college basketball really has a place in Vancouver, or are people just not interested?
You know, it's interesting. We see so much of March Madness here, but besides that, it's hard to get, televised college basketball, really, especially women's basketball here. So, during March Madness, I know a lot of people are watching, but as the season starts and, during the season before March Madness, it's hard to really get into it. But, I mean, you look at Duke with R.J. Barrett, leading their team in points, Canadian, and he's going to be, probably a top 10 draft pick. It's great to see, and that's one of the reasons that I've been interested in college basketball of late, just the Canadian development. So it's great to see. Boy, another really open look from St. George's there. VC just not grinding defensively, it seems.
Some good defense by St. George's there as Max Mache looks to get back into the game, and Eli Van Haren coming back out.
Yeah, Lawson forcing the offensive foul there. Great to just take it.
With just over 3 minutes to go in this first half, Cooper is going to look to organize and set up more of a lead for Saints, but that shot won't going to do it. As Parsa brings the ball just past half court, spins and turns and drops it off for Mitch Vance. Mitch Vance now with the shot, and it's just over the net. Now it's Luke Dixon looking up, and that's another 2 points for Saints, and that's a good transition point, getting the ball in your defensive end, and then you have a bit of a setup to just drive towards getting those points there.
Yeah, great
as
move.
Vance, another shot, that's his second three-point attempt tonight, and that's his second three-point failure tonight.
Yeah, Mitch
as
Vance
Cooper brings it up.
Struggling from 3 points.
Slew of substitutions for St. George's here. Cruz Dumont puts it off, and he's trying to orchestrate an opportunity for VC, who trailed 29-21 with 2.5 minutes left in this first quarter. Now it's up to Parsa, who turns and spins and tries for the layup, just can't get it. He retrieves the ball, showing good rebounding skills there, as it's up to San Felipe. Now Vance dropping to San Felipe, whose layup is good. That's Cruz Dumont, helped by San Felipe, and some good rebounding skills shown by the VC Fighting Irish to just drive, and fight until they get that point there, cutting the lead now by 6 and getting a couple free throws in the process.
Saints fans really getting in with the chance there.
Saints comes up with the ball after 2 or 3 opportunities there, and they'll be able to start a possession here with 2 minutes 18 seconds left.
It's interesting not to see Jacob Hold in the game, although he was struggling defensively with Eli. He was making a lot of shots in the paint and shooting Jays on the offense, but foul trouble, already at 2 fouls. Probably the coach wanting to rest him until the second half.
Cruz Dumont just charging up the court and loses the ball, but is retrieved there. That's Parsa, who's played a major role. Parsa and Cruz Dumont are playing major roles for the VC Fighting Irish. Neither of them have been off the court for very long individually, and it looks like they're going to be relying on them much through the second quarter as well, as this game is certainly not out of reach for the Irish.
No, 6 points.
Now it's Cruz Dumont to Mitch Vance.
Really at any level,
San
6
Felipe
points.
now. Back
Really
to Cruz
much.
Dumont. Vance now on the near side. And it's that pass back to Dumont is intercepted as Saints brings it up the floor and looks to extend their lead near the end of this first half. Saints with the three is up and is just too short.
Yeah, Theo
As
coming down.
Parsa begins to bring the ball up on what could be one of the last possessions of this half. San Felipe's layup just off the backboard and unsuccessful as VC continue to trail 29-23.
Yeah, still a close game. I mean, 2 possessions, right? Game can change in a very short period of time. Still completely in reach.
Xavier Kristen coming in now for St. George's in favor of the out of favor Nicholas Yu. More solid performance by St. George's as they come in and can't quite make do of that giveaway there by VC.
Yeah, interesting. Theo with 2 steals in 30 seconds. The team is racking up a ton of steals right now. VC's been very sloppy in possession. Under 1 minute left to go in the half.
Driving up, Kristen can't quite get it there as Cruz Dumont now on the break for VC. Drives to the net and is fouled there by St. George's and will go to the line for 2 points.
Yeah, when Cole's been driving to the rim, it's been good for him. He's seeing lots of shots from the free throw line, and he's very strong going to the rim.
He's fast too, leading those breakouts for the Irish.
Boy, Cole has now missed 3 free throws in a row. Maybe the chance getting into his head here.
2 unsuccessful free throws, and if they'd gotten those 2 points, they'd be very close to getting back into this game as Coach De Silva calls a timeout with 43.7 seconds left in this first half, sorry.
Yeah, Saints wants to finish the half strong, get it to 3 possession, and take a good lead into the second half here. This team was right in it till the final minute last time they played a couple weeks ago. So let's hope they can pull off a different result here tonight.
Of course, this is the second game in the series, and Saints won that first game. The crowd here is definitely getting into it, with Saints only leading by 6 points as the first half comes down. This team could also be a lot better for St. George's, and there's some very talented grade 10s who've actually made the jump and are on the varsity team this year.
Right away!
Cooper now driving in, drops it to Dixon. Now Cooper circles back, puts it to VC now with probably the last chance of the game as the clock ticks down to the last 20 seconds here in Dunbar and Vancouver.
Game clock ahead of the shot clock here, so they have all the time they want to probably look for the last shot here, VC will.
Cruz Dumont looking to just figure one last thing out as Luke Dixon holds him back. And Saints will intercept that one, and that shot for VC is a bit of a hopeless effort from way out with just under 5 seconds left here.
Yeah, very sloppy play, at the end of the half. You want to, when you have last shot, you want to make a good play, and VC really had nothing there.
Saints will undoubtedly just try and run out the clock here, maybe even get a shot attempt as they do. And that last second shot attempt is off the rim as we reach halftime here at St. George's, with the St. George's Saints leading 29-23. And we'll be back in 8 minutes. I'm Ben Steiner, this is Liam Solomon, and you're watching Saints VC Junior Varsity on SportsCanada.TV. Welcome back for the second half between these two teams. St. George's leading by a mere 6 points heading into the second half. What are your keys to the half, Liam?
Well, I mean, Saints has to keep dominating the paint and moving the ball. That's been their strength, getting movement and open shots. You know, contested shots have not gone well for them, although Eli's been able to pick up rebounds. It would be really nice to see, you know, the movement continue and the breaks continue. So Saints is going to win. That's what they got to keep doing, moving the ball.
How do you think St. George's has done on their kind of mission to rebound that their coach, Guy Silva, set out for them midway through that first half?
I mean, it seems like they're being very competitive. You know, they're going up for it, which is what you like to see. Not everything's falling their way, but it seems like Eli's pretty much been dominating Jacob on the boards, especially offensively. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. You know, VC has 7-foot-tall Armand Hody, and we're wondering if he's going to make an appearance tonight. It'd be interesting to see. You know, you generally don't see a 7-footer playing in a grade 8 to 10 game, so.
Second half now tipped off. VC already looking a little more determined on this first possession here.
Boy, the crowd really going at Cole Cruz Dumont tonight.
Cruz Dumont cutting the lead down, bringing the VC Fighting Irish a little closer, but not with that shot there.
Eli stepping out of bounds there.
The grade 9s lost earlier today, but the grade 8s pulled out a win in this second game. And usually we'd have the grade 8s playing first, and then the grade 9s, but because of some scheduling and some extracurricular organization that St. George's had throughout their day-to-day, we actually have pushed the tip-off times back about an hour.
Yeah, it's been really tough for the grade 9s, you know, the last couple of seasons. They continue to struggle, but, you know, they keep working hard, and, you know, they need to improve, and I think they'll get to a place they want to be eventually, and hopefully next year they can start challenging VC in that grade 9 game, because they continue to get blown out by them.
One thing that's interesting to me is you see the teams go up through the ages, and in grade 8, 9, and sometimes even in the JV games, VC is leaps and bounds ahead of St. George's. But then you get to the varsity game, and it's neck and neck. I mean, that first game, that was 1 point that VC won by, and last year it was Jarek's last-minute winner, 3-point. And so the gap definitely closes. And for some reason, VC just seems to have a bit of a stranglehold on those younger grades, as Saints leads by 5 points here.
Yeah. Cole Cruz Dumont not really focusing on the pass there. You got to make sure you keep your eye on the ball and get the ball before you move it. He's got to stay a little more focused there, just giving the possession to St. George's quite easily there.
Lawson Graham now with the ball for St. George's, out to Cooper on the far side. Cooper now challenged by Sandfire. Cooper cuts out, looking for a 3 possibly, but puts it to Eli. Eli drives in and uses his force and just pushes his defender to the floor, spins around and gets a layup to extend St. George's lead here.
Yeah, that's a very questionable call here, as you can see on the replay. I don't know if that's a charge. It seemed like the defender was moving, but never know. Ref had a better angle.
I mean, size also comes into play here, and sometimes it's just you run into a big hunk of meat.
Yeah, Lawson Graham with another steal. He leads the team in steals, and he just continues to show it.
Coming in for Vancouver, number 10, Mitch Vance.
Mitch Vance coming in for San Felipe now, and in his short cameo in the first half, Mitch Vance looked pretty good. Lawson Graham now out to the net hold. Cooper now sends it back in, and that's another layup. You have the tandem of Cooper Sugarman and Eli Van Haren just linking up there, using their differentials and height, and kind of confusing the opposition there about whether they should play to mark a tall guy, mark a short guy, and their give and goes just kind of hypnotized the defense there.
Oh, what a series there. Luke with a nasty rejection on one end, and here we have Xavier going to the line. It's great to see Saints coming out with a lot of fire at the start of this quarter. You know, if they can take the game, they're going to try to take BC out of the game here in the third, and hopefully they'll be able to do that.
An important key to the game will be the ability to sink their free throws, which is lacked St. George's throughout the season. I mean, that one's good from Xavier Christen, and he'll try to improve his team's total, as he does right there. And Saints is probably shooting above 50%, which is their overall free throw rate coming into this game here.
Yeah.
Four fouls?
Lawson with the reach in there. Might be his fourth foul, and he continues to reach in, and coach has not been happy with that.
Coach De Silva stressing to his team that he wants them to play a little more direct with quick passes and not to dribble, and he's taking off Lawson Graham now, who's gotten a little aggravated and been taking quite a few fouls. VC just Jacob Holt now up with the shot, and he sinks it to bring VC back within 10. A little bit of confusion now in terms of how many fouls each player has. Referee just coming over to calm down the two coaches. Jacob Holt now with his second throw. He's 2 for 2 there, something he hasn't done until that point tonight. Xavier Christen to Lawson Graham now. Jacob Holt just brings the ball up, sends it to Mitch Vance. Cruz Dumont offering help there. Cruz Dumont entering the key. Back to Holt, who drives in, trying to use his size. And that'll be a travel there by Jacob Holt, as he was challenged by the Saints defense and forced to hold on to that ball.
Crowd really
The chant fundamentals coming out from the St. George's fans here. You don't usually see traveling calls at this premier high level of basketball.
BC's really toned down the press of recent, sort of letting Saints get to the timeline.
Lawson Graham with another 2 points here for St. George's, and they're almost up by more than 10 points in what has been a very, very strong start to the second half for St. George's. You know, a lot of these players, these players are younger, and a lot of them have come up watching these games all the way since kindergarten and grade 1 at Saints, and even at VC2. And to be able to play in these games when you get to grade 8 is one thing, and for a lot of these players next year, to be able to play in front of their rowdy fans in the 7 o'clock nightcap is just a whole nother level, and something a lot of them won't ever experience again.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, for a lot of these kids, it's, you know, high school is the peak of their basketball careers. So, yeah, they take this very seriously.
Most of these guys won't be playing in college, and if they do, it's Canadian college, which unfortunately doesn't get the kind of following the American college game does. And so to be able to play in front of these fans, whether it's at lunchtime and the students or whether it's a slightly older crowd and maybe even more rambunctious later in the night for the older grades, it's just a great opportunity and something every player I know really appreciates. And speaking to Jarek last year after his first varsity game, he said that experience was just crazy, unreal, and is something he'll always remember. Now, he's a player who could play in college, but at the moment, he's all Saints all the time, and that's his main focus. As Saints is just up on the last chance from the shot clock as Maxwell James just gets that last-minute three-pointer. BC now with the ball up the pitch. Parsa can't quite get it, as Saints now has a golden opportunity for a layup, and they sink it. Not giving up that chance there, and just cashing in on a lazy giveaway from VC as Cruz Dumont brings it up from the half. Now it's Holt up, spinning around the Saints defenders and just going up for a pointer, but those 2 points won't count as they'll head to the line for 2 free throws.
Yep, we have a substitution here into the game with 21 for BC.
VC now back within 10 of St. George's with 2 minutes, 45 seconds left in this third quarter.
Yeah, Saints has been easily able to hold on to their lead so far this quarter, and you know, for the Saints fans, they hope that can continue.
Christian Prasad coming in now for VC in hopes of just adding a bit more size to that front line. Now it's Cameron for Saints. Up for Luke Dixon, who goes in for the perfect layup.
Yeah, it was odd to see no contest there by Jacob Holt. He just let Luke go in for the layup, and Luke was able to make it count.
Cruz Dumont showing his skills, spinning in there and tossing it to Jacob Holt, who can't quite get out of a triple team defense there, as Saints is just holding Holt to not many points here tonight. Holt is clearly a key player for VC, and Saints has done a very good job of containing him, even though they've fouled him quite a few times. Holt now with the toss, and that's his third straight free throw there. The Saints crowd now really getting into it here with their "I believe that we will win" chant, that chant that has become synonymous with U.S. soccer fans and has bled its way into the culture and fabric of St. George's community.
Yeah, it's great to see a lot of variation in fans for Saints. Got a ton of 10s, 11s, and 12s all supporting the junior varsity team here, which is great to see.
Here comes Cruz Dumont just cutting into the zone. Cruz Dumont at the top of the key and just sauces back for Parsa. Parsa now back for Holt. Holt now playing that point position, just trying to get the ball up and get it into just almost an alley-oop sort of thing. I think it's become pretty clear that these 5 players on the court right now are the 5 players that VC is leaning on this season, and at least in this game, as the kind of offensive driving leaders.
Yeah, it's been abundantly clear that Jacob Holt is their star big man. See, knocks down another free throw there, and he's had a great game. You know, he's really going at it, and you know, you'll have to see the intensity that he plays with.
Nicholas Yu now bringing it up for St. George's. And it's just off to the left-hand side. Saints now driving in, trying to find that layup, and they do keep their lead and extend it as Cruz Dumont now comes across half court. Spins and looks for Parsa. Parsa now in for Hothy. That pass is on the near side for Hothy, and it's into nowhere. Nobody there for Hartley. Maybe that's why he didn't start, as Nicholas Yu brings it up the pitch and looks for an opportunity. Max Mache now just fouled there, and Saints will go to the line for 2 in hopes of extending their lead in what has been a very, very good third quarter. Max Mache now at the line for St. George's. Mache up. That's good for Max Mache, who's had a lot of trouble on free throws this season. 45-34 now, as Saints is really taking a stranglehold on the game, but
looks like could be a backcourt violation here.
Jacob Holt now, back to Parsa. Parsa drives up, and that's another great defensive maneuver by Max Mache. Saints just getting up to block that, led by Max Mache there. He goes from scoring 2 free throws to cutting back and making 3 very, very good blocking attempts. As Parsa is now on the line for VC in this last minute of the third quarter.
Yeah, Max almost averaging a block a game. It's good to see him being competitive in the paint.
He'll undoubtedly be padding those stats there after this one, as he's just been absolutely exceptional. 2 free throws sunk there by Parsa and VC as they do their best to chip away at this lead that they've given away. And a giveaway there goes right to Cruz Dumont, who cuts into the key, and that's an easy, easy layup. Lazy work there by St. George's, and those are 2 points that they didn't need to give up. Nicholas Yu now with a throw that goes just out wide, and between that giveaway to Cruz Dumont a minute ago and that errant pass, it's not a good few moments for St. George's and Nicholas Yu especially.
Yeah, some sloppy turnovers there by Saints. You know, already leading to 2 points there and could be possibly more here. And it's odd, press really hasn't been a problem for Saints so far this game, and let's hope it doesn't continue to be a problem now.
Saints is not leaning on their starters as much this quarter, and they were just resting them after playing them pretty heavy in those first 2 quarters. And I mean, a guy like Nick Yu rather than Cooper Sugarman out there, you can definitely see the difference. As Jacob Holt, who has seen the line a lot today, misses that free throw with just over 30 seconds left in the third quarter, and VC chipping away. Nick Yu, after having a bit of trouble, is coming out now, and Lawson Graham, the starter, who has been fouling quite a bit tonight, is back into the game for these last 32.3 seconds. And now on the ball is Lawson Graham. Back to Luke Dixon. Luke Dixon now at the top of the 3, cuts into the key, but Saints is going to look for a 3, run out the clock and try and get that last shot of the game. Vegas Yu has now cutting in, dropping to Dixon. Dixon can't quite get it up, as Parsa gets it for VC and will begin to break out. Well, Saints really ran away with it middle of that, but in the last kind of 2 minutes, the Fighting Irish really cut back the lead.
Yeah, you know, it's been a hard couple last minutes for Saints with giveaways especially, so they need to fix that up.
I mean, the fall apart there by Nick Yu, really, I think that was almost 5 points that they gave up just in quick succession, and you can't do that in a game that's always so close. And of course, this is the second highest age group, and so these 2 teams are coming close in age, close in height, close in stature, and you just never know what it's going to look like coming into these next set of games.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a bit of a quiet sports scene in Vancouver right now. You have the Whitecaps, who have yet to kick off. Their kickoff is March 2nd versus Minnesota United at BC Place. And don't really have any other sports going on. But the Canucks are the main focus. And what do you make of them this year, Liam?
To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing right now. I think they should be trying to tank. I don't think they have a team to go far in the playoffs. But you know, they've been able to put up wins against good teams, which, you know, has been rare for the last 3 years for the Canucks. So, you know, they're improving. They got a good young core. So they're definitely a team to look out for in the future.
They've definitely got a good top 6 forwards led by Swedish rookie superstar Elias Peterson and American Brock Besser. But once you get past kind of Brock Besser, Bo Horvat, and Peterson, there's not much there. So if those guys can stay healthy, maybe they could make the playoffs, which would certainly be an unexpected occurrence after 4 years of pretty dismal hockey here on the West Coast, as Saints now looks to close out this game in the 4th quarter and aren't able to extend their lead as Cruz Dumont brings it up the field for.
You know, in Vancouver, the Raptors are a huge part of the sports culture here as well. A lot of people supporting the Raptors, and you know, especially with the addition of Chris Boucher from Montreal, some Canadian talent on the Raptors is great to see. We had Corey Joseph a couple of years ago, but you know, Boucher hailing from Montreal has been a real influence to a lot of Canadians here.
Cooper Sugarman back on the floor for St. George's after taking most of the 3rd quarter off, and that is a coaching decision by De Silva that I am not surprised by, after Saints kind of surrendered a bit of a lead in those last few minutes, and putting your kind of maestro back on the floor is definitely a smart idea. Lawson Graham goes up for 2 points there. Christian McMahon still on the floor for VC, and he's been on for most of the night here. And I think what this game has shown us, even if the score is pretty close, what this game has shown is that Saints is a very deep team. They can put out their starters, they can put out their kind of A- team, and they still are finding success both defensively and offensively. You see the ability to bring a guy like Max Maché off the bench, and with his block rate the highest on the team, and you see he also chips it offensively and then will track back and work his butt off to get back defensively. To be able to bring him off the bench is invaluable for any team, and must be something that De Silva really appreciates.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this pairing of Luke and Eli have been so strong in the paint. It's been a rare occurrence to see them together, but I think it's been working really well, getting rebounds and putting shots back up.
Eli sinks that free throw, and Saints is able to hold on to this now slender lead as VC is charging up past half court. Cruz Dumont now coming in. And Jacob Holt is still out there. Has he been off the floor, Liam, today?
He has he was off at the end of the 1st quarter. He got in a little foul trouble, had 2 fouls in quick succession at the end of the 1st, but I mean, he's been so key to their success here, and it's going to be tough to take him off in the next 6 minutes at all.
There's Luke Dixon up with the shot, just trying to put it away for St. George's, and unable to as Cruz Dumont gets the ball back off the rebound and puts it back to Parsa. Parsa now with the ball, spins, tosses it back to Cruz Dumont, who's up for 3, and is just short of the basket. Loose ball taken up by Cruz Dumont, who tries to get it and can't get it. You see here a bit of sloppy play there, and Cruz Dumont just trying to put it behind his back and get it in, but can't get it there.
It's the fourth foul for number 22, Eli, there in foul trouble. The Saints might want to take him off and save him for the last couple minutes, but it's going to be tough. He's such a dominant force.
Cooper now leading that charge around with Lawson Graham charging up the floor. Can't quite get it there though for St. George's. You see these passionate fans here for St. George's. it's a bit of a problem having such a small venue because the venue can't fit everybody who wants to go to the game, and it'd be great if they could fit all of the St. students and all of the VC students who wanted to come, but it's just not possible. And here it's a little bit better than it is at VC, but at VC it's certainly quite tight. There were rumored only 50 tickets available for St. George's earlier this year at the away leg.
Yeah, tickets have been hard to come by, so we'll see. Hopefully everyone has their wristband for tonight and is able to watch the big game.
A number of grade 12s have expressed their displeasure with the way the ticketing system works, which means that the keen grade 8s who are getting there at 7:30 in the morning are getting the tickets and taking away the opportunities for the grade 12s to see their team and classmates play in their last varsity VC series.
Don't look now, but VC has cut it to a one-possession game and has been quite dominant in the offensive rebounding category.
There we see the height of Eli just coming out again and being able to drive and tip that one in as Parsa cuts in, and it's up for Cooper, who has breakaway. Cooper on the layup, and he gets it. And that's a captain clutch move by Cooper Sugarman, as Saints now leading 52-45.
You know, Saints are a team that are averaging around 54 points a season, so it looks like they're going to beat that number today, which is good to see. Good to see offensive production.
Yeah, X!
Cruz Dumont now back to San Fryer. Cruz Dumont for the three. Cruz Dumont almost gets it, but not quite, as Alma now brings it up past half court for St. George's. Now it's Cooper, who's again being held on heavily in this fourth quarter for the Saints, and cut in there by Luke Dixon, and as he's fouled, the Saints will go for two. Lawson Graham going into the line, just showing his offensive drive and what he wants to get from this offense, as he's fouled there by Jacob Holt.
VC taking a timeout here.
4 fouls on 22.
There were some thoughts this year, Liam, that they would move these two games, the varsity games, at least, to War Memorial Gym out of UBC, because they thought they could pack that, and it came down to finances why they didn't, but personally I think it would have been a great move to move these events and have a bigger crowd come out to the Saints VC.
Yeah, it would be nice for a bigger crowd, but you never know the authenticity and the environment, the small gym provides. It's a atmosphere unlike no other, or atmosphere like no other. So, I don't know. It's a tough decision always on how to proceed with these games, especially because there's so many people that want to attend them. So, Mr. Blackman, I think he's done a great job this year with just getting everything organized, and everything is run so smoothly. A lot of students have not been so happy with the way tickets work, but still, everything is running smoothly, which is great to see.
Of course, this is going to be one of the last games in this gym as St. George's is renovating in the coming years. And in speaking to Mr. Figueroa here at St. George's, it sounds as though the new gym will be substantially bigger, have about 2,000 capacity seating, and be able to create a whole new level for this event, which has become one of the premier high school and amateur sporting events in the Lower Mainland.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are people that tune in for the varsity game from everywhere. You see students that graduated 10 plus years ago who tune in every year to watch it. It's just such a fun event for both sides.
VC is going to need to find that next gear heading into these last 3.5 minutes here. San Felipe now, cross for Parsa. Parsa now with the shot there. Travel appeals from the Saints bench, but nothing called by the referees. As Saints brings it up, Luke Dixon goes for the layup and is unsuccessful there. Saints now just trying to find the loose ball, as Parsa now gets the loose ball for VC, charges up as fast as he's done this game, gives it to Cruz Dumont, who's up for the layup, and they have found that next gear, cutting the lead to 4 points and bringing this game really close.
Yeah, 2 quick buckets from VC there, right, putting them right back in this game.
Angus Yu has now on the ball for St. George's, trying to orchestrate a chance to extend their lead heading into these final 3 minutes Angus Yu has into the key. Now it's Dixon who sauces it back out. Saints up for the three, and it's just too far. Jacob Holt now to Parsa. Parsa now looks to Cruz Dumont. San Felipe now at the top of the circles. San Felipe to Cruz Dumont. Now it's Holt. Again, triple teamed in the key, and that's going to be another foul on St. George's.
I mean, what else do you expect in this game? It's so highly contested, so close. It's going to come down to the wire. I mean, to be honest, that's what both sides, the fans love to see, a close, highly contested game. It's great to see that here.
Everybody wants it to come down to the wire except, maybe the coaches.
Yeah, I'm sure the players on both sides would enjoy a blowout on the other team's behalf. So
here comes Luke Dixon looking for the layup, and he can't quite get it there. As this game is certainly coming down to the wire.
If he hits the second one, I want a timeout. Only on the second.
Kristen now on the line for St. George's. First shot is up, and it's good, as Saints brings this back to a two-possession game. Xavier Kristen goes 2 for 2 on the free throws there to bring Saints ahead by 6 points. And there's a timeout now called by Coach Guy De Silva, who is rumored to be coaching his last JV game.
Yeah, it's been a great tenure for him, and hopefully he'll enjoy where he ends up next.
There's some rumblings that he might be taking over the head coaching position, but of the varsity team, but nothing confirmed there, as there would be not really anyone to take over the JV program, as assistant coach Brian Costello is also looking to leave next year.
Saints working out a game plan here. Expect them to take long possessions, try to run out the clock here. It's a 6-point game. It's just over 2 minutes. Anything could really happen here. It's going to be a really exciting ending.
The question I have for you, Liam, is do you put a guy like Cooper on now, or do you put a more offensive or more defensive guy on?
Well, when you're at this point in the game with multiple timeouts, you might go possession-based when you're on the offense. Someone like Cooper can come in. Defense, maybe not. But Cooper has shown great ability defensively, especially stealing the balls. And with VC, pressing.
Cruz Dumont now cutting in, putting it to Holt, and Holt can't quite get the pass as that ball goes wide. And we'll go back to St. George's for Cooper to check into this game.
Big possession here from St. George's. Points can pretty much ice the game.
Here's Cooper, who is on the floor for the St. George's Saints and is on the ball as he tries to drive a couple more points in for the home side here. Lawson Graham back to Cooper. Cooper surveys his options and is challenged by Cruz Dumont. And this will be a battle that'll going to be quite enticing over the next few years. Cooper versus Cruz Dumont. As Vance for Saints now. Cooper to Graham. Graham fakes and cuts, and that's going to, he sinks the basket, but that's not going to count.
Shot clock violation there on Saints.
Great shot, though, as we look at it here on the replay. And some great work. We'd like to thank the TVP class of St. George's and SportsCanada.TV for really re-upping these broadcasts this year. And we bring you live replays for the first time, and of course this new camera angle, which we mentioned earlier. Great defensive work there by Lawson Graham to knock the ball into the crowd and keep Saints' lead well intact. Jackson Finley now on the ball for VC. Back to Cruz Dumont, who cuts into the key. Back to Finley. And to Holt. And there's that height battle again. And Eli unable to come up with it as Holt gets another point this game. Cooper now puts it up to Mitch Vance. And now it's Saints cutting it back in with ample shooting opportunity. Cooper for three, but it's just short, and his legs can't quite get him there as Cruz Dumont now brings the ball up the field for VC with just under a minute to go. And Saints now getting the possession back after that push by San Felipe. It's a close game. 55, 51, 53 seconds left, and VC just taking a timeout.
Yeah, it's coming down to the wire. But Saints with the ball here, they're definitely going to be favored, up 4 points, ball, 55 seconds left.
Could we see a 1-point game like we did in the varsity game last month? It is certainly looking like that's a possibility as both teams draw up their plans for these next few games.
Yeah, Saints on this possession wants to definitely get the ball up the court, run the whole shot clock down, and take a good shot. You know, if they can do that, they're going to put themselves in a great position to win this game.
Of course, after this game, just very soon after, in about half an hour, we've got Brian Lee and Paul Prosnick, as we see them on screen now, just organizing their game plan to call the varsity game, which is up in half an hour, and that's going to be an exciting one. So I hope you stick around with us for that game. For full coverage of this game, among others, and other happenings in BC high school basketball, you can check out a few websites. There's always BC Hoop Scoop and Varsity Letters, but also a new website on the scene that's actually run by yours truly, Ben Steiner, vancitysport.com, and covering professional, amateur, and high school sports all around the Lower Mainland.
BC cutting it to 2 here. We're in for a nail-biter.
2-point game now with 20 seconds left. Saints just maybe trying to
5-second
hold on to the ball, and
5-second shot clock, game clock difference.
Cooper now just trying to be strong on the ball. And that's a foul there by VC, which could doom them. Although it is just 2 points and it is 12.4 seconds. As Saints is calling yet another timeout heading into these last few seconds. It's been a great game between these two sides here. Neither side really able to lodge a good lead at any point. It's been back and forth and back and forth. And Saints has been leading for most of the day, but VC is certainly cutting it close and could be looking for a miracle come the end.
Yeah, and I think the shot clock resets, which means VC, if they don't get the ball on the inbounds, is going to have to foul right away.
More people drawing into the gym now for the 7 o'clock tip-off of that varsity game.
Everything on the line for these two teams in the last 12.5 seconds.
We're on the edge of our seats here in the gym. Fans are standing, and I'm sure you're on the edge of your seats at home, wherever you might be watching this game, as there's 12.4 seconds left. And Saints gives away the ball. VC cutting up the court and will undoubtedly look for a 3-point shot. And if Cruz Dumont sinks his 3-point shot, that'll be it, but he doesn't. And the ball is out of play, and the buzzer goes, and St. George's wins by 2 points by
the refs are discussing
thinnest of margins.
I think they're going to have to put a second back on the clock or so. Let's see. Wow, what a chance by Cole Cruz Dumont there. And the overrated chance are reigning through St. George's Gym.
0.2 seconds. 0.2 seconds coming back on the clock, the referee says.
0.2 left. VC ball, I believe, and VC is taking a timeout. They're going to need a cut to the rim here and a layup. I don't know if this could be enough time to pull off a 3. If they get a really open look, it might be enough, but it's going to be a really tough going for them right at the end.
Certainly coming down to the thinnest of margins here, and it's going to take now a miracle for VC if they want to get this lead, as We have about a quarter of a second left, and that is certainly not much. It's been a good game, and thanks for tuning in to this one on SportsCanada.TV. As it's VC's ball with 0.2 seconds left in the game, and we see the VC fans here and the crowd just drawing into the gym now.
Yeah, the refs actually never made a call on the court as to whose ball it was.
Of course, everybody will be kicked out of the gym momentarily and have wristbands checked and tickets checked for the varsity game, which is set to kick off at 7 o'clock. VC now might even have to shoot just right from here, as just as everyone gets set up, Saints takes a timeout.
Yeah, it was tough in that timeout. Saints was a little confused as to whose ball it was. The refs never signaled. So now Saints will have another chance to go over the defensive strategy. They're definitely not going to let anything under the net happen. And they got to block those 3-point shots as well.
They've been very good refs. They just haven't been too good at communicating to the two coaches. So we'll see if that changes in the second game here, the varsity game, which is coming up soon. But I've been happy with the refereeing calls, but just maybe the communication could be a little better.
Yeah, it's always good when the refs don't decide the game, and they really didn't here. It was up to the players, and it's so hard. It's so loud in this gym here. It's such a small gym, and the crowds are getting very into it, especially for varsity. It's going to be so loud. It's so tough to communicate.
Sandwich it!
First appearance of Armand Hody, the 7-footer. What a time for him to make an impact.
And that 0.2 seconds isn't enough, as Saints wins on their home court, and the fans flood the floor as the St. George's Saints win 55-53. Thanks for watching. I'm Ben Steiner, at BenSteiner00 on Twitter, and alongside me helping out was Liam Solomon. Thanks for watching as Saints win this one. Tune back in about half an hour for the varsity game. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.